The lights dimmed and an air of uncertainty swept across the hall. Onto the stage came a frail old man, leaning heavily on his cane. Some in the crowd whispered that perhaps he was lost, that maybe this was a mistake. But when he reached the microphone and closed his eyes, the world seemed to stop. His hands trembled, but then his voice broke free, rich, powerful, and unshakably human. The hall fell silent, then filled with gasps as the song unfolded. Every note carried a weight of sacrifice, of decades where dreams had been shelved for survival. It wasn't just a song, it was an autobiography sung into the air, a melody etched with scars and triumphs. Listeners clutched their hearts, wiped their eyes, and leaned into every word as if his voice was telling their story too. He sang of lost time, of family love, of honor kept alive even in silence. By the time his song ended, the entire hall stood on its feet. It was a reminder that some voices only bloom after years of silence, and when they do, they carry the strength of 1,000 untold stories. Backstage, a young girl had watched everything. She was small, shy, and often ridiculed for her stutter. People told her she would never sing before others, that she should remain hidden. Yet tonight, something inside her stirred. The old man's voice felt like a spark, igniting the memory of her grandmother's words, "Your voice is your truth. Never hide it, no matter what." With trembling hands, she walked to the producers and begged for a chance. They hesitated, glancing at the clock, but the audience, still raw from the old man's performance, cheered for her. Their encouragement carried her to the stage. When she opened her mouth, her stutter dissolved, replaced with a voice so pure it seemed almost otherworldly. She sang with tears rolling down her face, but her melody never faltered. The judges exchanged stunned looks. The audience leaned forward as though catching every note might save them from their own pain. A timid girl became a vessel of strength, and for the first time in her life, she was seen, not for her flaws, but for the beauty only she could give. As her song poured through the hall, something extraordinary happened. The old man, sitting near the judges, began to hum along. His humming grew into song, and soon his weathered voice joined hers in harmony. The moment was unplanned, yet it felt destined. Their voices twined together, weaving decades of sorrow and youth's fragile hope into one breathtaking sound. The audience clutched one another, overcome with emotion. Parents hugged their children tighter, couples squeezed each other's hands, and strangers embraced like family. The music wasn't just performance, it was healing, it was memory, it was the power of generations meeting in unity. The girl's eyes brimmed with tears, but she did not falter. Instead, her voice grew stronger as if lifted by the old man's presence. When the final note dissolved into silence, the audience held its breath before erupting into thunderous applause. It was more than music. It was a reminder that when wounds and hope meet, beauty is born. Yet backstage, the shadows of doubt crept in. Contestants whispered bitterly that the girl had been chosen out of pity, not talent. Their sharp words pierced her fragile confidence. Alone in the corner, she sobbed, whispering, "Maybe they're right. Maybe I don't belong here." The old man saw her breaking and approached with slow, deliberate steps. He placed a kind hand on her trembling shoulder. His voice, gentle yet steady, carried the wisdom of years. "When I was your age, I silenced my voice. I worked jobs, raised children, gave everything to survival. I buried my dream. But not a day has passed without regret. Don't let their bitterness rob you of your gift. Singing isn't about proving you're the best. It's about choosing to live. And when you sing, you give the world a reason to keep hoping." His words pierced through her despair, planting courage back into her heart. Her tears still fell, but now they carried strength instead of fear. The final round arrived, and destiny called them together once more. The announcer summoned both the old man and the girl to the stage. The audience leapt to its feet before the first note was sung, sensing they were about to witness something unforgettable. Hand in hand, they began a song of hope. The girl's young, radiant tone wrapped around the old man's deep, time-worn voice like sunlight over a mountain. Halfway through, the old man staggered, coughing, his body nearly giving out. A wave of panic swept through the crowd. But the girl refused to let go. With fierce determination, she tightened her grip on his hand, carried the melody alone, and then, with her strength, drew him back into harmony. Their voices rose together again, unbreakable, unafraid. By the final note, the hall thundered with applause. The judges, unable to hold back tears, smashed the golden buzzer together, showering the stage in a blizzard of gold confetti. The world had just witnessed the impossible, two voices defying doubt, time, and fear, united in one unforgettable song. As the golden rain fell, the old man leaned close to the girl, his voice barely above a whisper. "This was my last song." Her breath caught as she turned to him in shock. He smiled, weary but proud. "My health won't allow me to continue. But you will carry this dream." She shook her head, tears streaming freely. "I can't do this without you." He pressed golden confetti into her palm and whispered, "Legacy isn't about who wins. It's about what lives on. Tonight, I gave you my dream. Make it soar." The audience chanted her name, but she lifted her hand and pointed back at him. "This was his gift to me. And I promise the world will never forget." The hall erupted louder than ever, an ovation not for a winner, but for a story of passing torches, of voices echoing across generations. Their duet became a legend, proof that sometimes the most powerful song is not about competition, but about humanity, kindness, and love that endures beyond time.